before I get into today's video, I wanted to read this comment because it kind of stuck out to me as to what happens to regular people. Last two jobs I worked, there were people who worked hard, towed the line, and loved the company. They managed to get promoted to lower management. In both cases, all those people ended up either being demoted back to their low level minimum wage job or back to where they came from, fired. These were people who had kids, mortgages. They thought they had careers when in reality they had nothing. So when you hear about things like that, it makes you wonder. Because the comment up above from that asked me, it's like, MS, will you do a video on America's falling birth rate? Once I heard that, it made me realize that we have a real problem in this third world country. And that is the simple fact that we have become a low desire country, just like Japan. It's no longer, no one wants to work anymore. That's what the capitalists would like to belittle people who don't want to work hard for them. Because remember, the harder you work, the richer they get. The more work they can get out of one person without having to hire a second person, the better it is for their bottom line. Remember, profit only goes to the top. It doesn't come down here to us, the minimum wage workers working at McDonald's. It always stays up there. So we've become a society that doesn't want to try anymore. Because you know that if you're working at McDonald's, Burger King, Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, Chipotle. I mean, I just read an article that said that working at Chipotle no longer is what it used to be. And I mean, every job in America is the exact same way. Regardless of what you do for work or where you work, unless you're part of the winning team, you're part of the 99%. There's no escaping it. The wage cage takes us all. And regardless of what you're making, if you're not pulling down $175,000 a year, which is the minimum amount that you need to make in order to own a home here in Arizona comparatively to all the other states. California is like 300,000. But they show you, the CNN comes out with the same poll every 3 to 4 months showing what the cost of living really looks like. And if you're making $20 an hour or $16 an hour, you're not making it. You can't even afford to rent an apartment in this ghetto apartment complex where I live, where it is so run down here that it's depressing. In fact, my friend came over yesterday and she was hanging out with me and she's like, "How much do you pay to live here?" And I'm like, 2,000. And she's just like, "Oh my God." Oh my God. Yeah. And I'm just wonder, like, I mean, you literally have no money to do anything. So if you have no money to do anything and all you're doing constantly is thinking about how you're going to make more money beyond working at McDonald's 8 to 5, it really starts to wear on you. No one wants to try anymore because what's the point? We're not having children. We're not going to school. There's nothing to apply to on Indeed. And if you've been on Indeed as long as I have, you can see that there's a pattern. The same jobs. You know why that is? Because there is no booming economy. The last jobs report clearly showed us that we are in a depression, or at least a recession that no one refuses to acknowledge. When you have to fire the person that tells you facts about how terrible your job economy is, when you have to fire the person who tells you the truth, and you have to fudge the numbers about unemployment so badly that no one believes you anymore. No one should trust those numbers. The unemployment rate is not 4%. It clearly has to be closer to 80 to 90% when it comes to functional unemployment. And what does that mean? It means that what you make, even working full time, if you're functionally unemployed, you don't make enough money to pay your bills while you're working. And to me, that's the worst number that you can have because it encompasses nearly all of the 99%. We're functionally unemployed. If I can't take a vacation I can't take a day off. I can't do anything. I have to work that day, whether it's here on YouTube or it's at McDonald's or if it's at Wendy's, wherever it is. We're getting to the point in our society where we're going to have to start eating dirt. And no one wants to try anymore to eat dirt while you're working full time. It's just not worth it. Stress wise, there's no job stability out there. And you kind of wonder, it's like, well, how did this all happen? Well, if rent is as high as it is, it's intentional. They made this world for us to not want to try anymore. Remember, you will be happy and own nothing. All right, I wasted 5 minutes. Let's get into the opening monologue. Nobody wants to try anymore. And honestly, I get it. We've all seen what happens to people who break their backs for a company. They get laid off in a 6 minute Zoom call, thanked for their dedication, and replaced by an intern and an algorithm. In 2025, trying just means handing over your health, your free time, and your sanity for a paycheck that barely covers rent and a week's worth of groceries. The hustle isn't inspiring anymore. It's a rigged game where the winners were chosen before they even started playing. That's something that someone wrote in my comment section today. Is that they've noticed that people whose parents stay married, stability in the home is a great way of gauging whether or not you're going to make it. When you come from the home that I come from, it's as dysfunctional as it gets. You never had a chance because you don't really know your parents at that point, right? I couldn't tell you what my mom's birthday was, the name of her last husband, where she lives, nothing. They were just strangers that I had to live with. They're like the roommates that you didn't like, and you were forced to hang out with them. It's like a dog that doesn't like its owner, right? You don't really want to hang out with your owner, but they also put the food in the dog bowl. So you kind of have to have this unholy relationship with them, and you just don't like them. You don't want to be around them. You don't hug them. You don't talk to them. You kind of just sit in a corner waiting until you're old enough so that you can leave and never have to talk to them again. At least that's kind of what I've noticed about a lot of people lately is their relationship with their parents is non-existent. They're out there in the world knowing full well that no one cares about them. And the second they can't pay their rent, they're going to be out on the street. I've seen so many fresh homeless people in the past few months. I pass them every day where you can tell they just got kicked out of their house. They have no job. They lost their car already and they're out there. No one cares about them. And they're going to be long-term homeless. Because for me, coming back from being homeless meant that I still had a connection through the university. So I still had professors that had connections. And that's how I managed to get back on my feet every single time that I become homeless is through the university. Because I spent half my life at the university in education. I really don't have the skill set to be out here in the real world, which is exactly what happened when I graduated in 2017 from universities. I came out here to look for work in this world, and this is the non-education world. I have no business being here. I work at McDonald's. I live in a crappy apartment, and my dream of being in education is long dead, just like the American dream was for the 99%. It was never a dream. It was more of a kind of a nightmare that you didn't want to look directly at. Like this morning, I showed up at the gym, severely dehydrated, still a little tipsy from last night. And I mean, I wasn't going to be able to work out, not in that condition. It's the first heavy lift I had this morning, I started seeing stars because I was so dehydrated. 20 minutes later, I had to crawl out of the gym with my tail tucked between my legs because I was going to pass out. It's that simple. And that's how most of us go into the job market. We're dizzy, we don't know what we're doing, and before long we realize that we're never going to make it. It's going to kick our rear end nonstop for the rest of our lives because we don't know what we're doing. I don't know how to find a good job. And hell, even if I was staring at a good job, who would hire me? A McDonald's worker with 4 liberal arts degrees. What does that show an employer? That I know how to waste my money? Most of us aren't qualified for good jobs. And that's why we don't want to try anymore. We don't want to try to work at Taco Bell. You don't want to put the fries in the bag, little bro. As a middle-aged man, I mean, every time I see a person that's over 70 or over 80 wearing a Walmart uniform, it makes me want to cry for all the seniors that are heading that way. Because if you don't have a savings account, if you don't start saving for retirement by your late 20s, you're never going to retire. I don't have a penny of retirement money. I don't have a penny of savings. I have what I have, and it gets me, I call it the just-in-time paycheck. Sometimes I make it to my next paycheck, and I have money the whole time, and sometimes you run out. And you just gotta wait. And when I worked at Walmart, there were people who literally would come in at midnight the night before paychecks came out just so that they could buy food. That's how pathetic it is out there. All right, let's get into talking point number 1. For decades, we were told that ambition and hard work were the golden ticket to stability and prosperity. But in 2025, it's painfully clear that the meritocracy is more market slogan than reality. Even highly skilled workers, especially in tech, are seeing their roles outsourced, automated, or eliminated without warning. When the payoff for effort is the same as doing the bare minimum, people naturally pull back. It's not laziness. It's a rational response to a broken incentive. That's what I'm telling you guys. Nobody wants to try anymore. What's at the end of every single McPaycheck? Nothing. You pay your monthly subscriptions for life. You pay your breathing subscription so you can continue breathing the air they're going to end up finding a way of making unfree. Just like everything else in life. If they can charge you, if they can find a way of charging you more for something, they will. Everything you look at right now in your life is a lower quality than it used to be. And a perfect example are backpacks. When I started going to college, you could buy a backpack and it was durable, sturdy, and it would last you a few years. You buy a brand new backpack right now and it's thin. It's cheap. The materials don't last. It starts looking worn out right away. And if you use it every day like I do, within a year you need another one. Pants are the same thing. Especially the quality of our food. It doesn't taste the same anymore. It's smaller. One of the things I hate doing the most in my life is spending money on low quality food that's extremely expensive. It bothers me to the nth degree that I know I'm not going to enjoy eating this. And you have no choice. I tried eating dirt, and unfortunately, because I lift so many weights, eating dirt wasn't really an option for me. It might be for you. But let's go into talking point number 2. Corporate culture has shifted from valuing innovation to valuing obedience. Taking initiative often results in more unpaid responsibilities, not promotions or raises. In this environment, trying harder doesn't lead to career growth. It just makes you an easier target for exploitation. And that's what happens to all of us. You know, I have one of my Mick coworkers was flinging hamburgers last week, and he stopped and looked at me and it's like, why am I working so hard? And I'm like, I don't know. Guess we just got used to it, right? Mello messaged me last Wednesday that she finally got hurt at work. And I was just like, why does everyone get hurt at work? Because it's designed that way. Amazon warehouses are notoriously dangerous for your health. And that's your physical health is in danger in a warehouse. I mean, the story of a man being sucked through a pipe that's 6 inches wide horrifies me still to think about it. that your bitter end is going to come being sucked into a pipe while wearing a Walmart, excuse me, an Amazon uniform. And the last thing you're going to see as you get sucked into that tube is probably your uniform and wondering, why did I have to go out like this? Well, because no one cared. Why did they have to attach the safety nets outside of Foxconn? Because people, they don't want to try anymore. And if you can jump out and escape, you did. And those people were jumping. People don't jump for opportunity, they jump to escape. And this is why things are so bad for us. When you look out the window and you see escape, rather than staying there and doing the same thing for the paycheck every week, why would you stay there? And the worst part about it is that they want you smiling the whole time. Smiling like an idiot from corner to corner, from ear to ear, they want you smiling the whole time. And you know what? Someone in the comments had the audacity to ask me, what's fleece? Oh my God. If you're watching this channel and you don't know who fleece is, I don't watch my content anymore. Go somewhere else. Go watch Mr. B's. Go look up a religious channel. Find something better to do with your time. All right. Final talking point. With burnout at record levels, mental health crisis soaring, more people are realizing that constantly giving 110% isn't sustainable, and in many cases, isn't even necessary. Instead, there's a growing culture shift towards conserving energy for things that actually matter: personal relationships, creative pursuits, and even basic survival. This isn't about a generation being entitled or lazy, it's about choosing not to waste finite emotional and physical resources on systems that give you nothing back. If you look at your paycheck every Friday like I do, and I break it down to what it's actually going to do for me and how stressed out of my mind I am on most days, because working the drive-through, it's hard work. It's mentally taxing. It's physically taxing. People are rude to you. And no matter what you do, you can't seem to stay out of trouble. All the way that McDonald's was designed to be. If you're wearing that uniform and you're a middle-aged man, it's not that you've made a lot of bad decisions like most people would make you believe. You know, people who would rather, I don't know, sell plasma than ever apply for a $200 a week unemployment check. Again, the unemployment has not gone up in Arizona since the year 2009. Intentionally. They don't want you to think you can live on unemployment. They want you hustling because business owners need cogs. Business owners need more money. Business owners don't care whether or not you have a place to sleep, whether you're eating, whether you're about to go insane from doing the same thing over and over again for years at a time. Because you can only take doing the same thing over and over again while in a meat grinder for so long. Eventually, you just go crazy. I mean, I sit at night, late at night. This morning I got a text message at 2:30 in the morning that she was working on building furniture because she couldn't sleep. You know why? Do you know why people can't sleep? The simple reason. They don't have money. When you don't have resources, it becomes the entire focus of your existence. It becomes everything. You're constantly going from job to job. I just saw an influencer right now. She's a bodybuilding influencer who's talking about her journey to getting to where she's at. And it all came through becoming an influencer. Last year, she was working at a pizza place, sleeping on the floor, and not going anywhere in life, working 7 days a week, all food jobs for minimum wage, and she just wasn't going to make it. So guess what? She's pretty enough, she's in great shape, you meet the right people, and things happen in your life. Things get better. But for the vast majority of the proletariat, including myself, things don't get better. There's no actual path towards things getting better for you. You just have to keep showing up. And as my coworker said, I'm going to ride the wave until it's over at McDonald's. All right, let's get into our closing monologue. So maybe the real problem isn't that people stop trying. It's that they finally realized what they were trying for. We're not lazy. We're tired of donating our lives to a system that treats us like replaceable batteries. In a world where effort is exploited and loyalty is punished, checking out isn't weakness, it's survival. And if that scares the people in charge, good. It means we're finally playing by our own rules. The people at the top, they don't get scared. They build bunkers. They build mansions that look like they're waiting for the end of the world. They live in their own secluded world. They don't understand what it's like to work 3 different food jobs, working double shifts every day. They don't understand that. And at the same time, why would they? Why do they care if the proletariat pets are sleeping on the ground of their mother's house because they don't have money? It's not they don't care. They just hire you to do whatever. They don't care about the overall health of their employees. Because if they did, we wouldn't be working 40 hours. All right, remember, I'm going to bring this up in every video that I can. I'm a strong advocate of the 1 hour, 1 day work week. Because it makes as much sense as working 40 hours and not being able to pay your rent. It's as stupid as that you aren't making it. So why? Why are people even bothering to try? And any business owner right now watching this is going to be like, oh man, you can't tell people that. People have to come to work and work really hard so I can be rich. Not you. Because remember, razor thin profit margins. Now imagine how razor thin the profit margins are for the proletariat who doesn't own the business. The profit margins don't even exist. Every month, we go deeper and deeper into the hole with no possibility of escaping.